Ciao, I'm Julia Kay. I'm glad you are here. Nobody has visited me in ages. It's been years now. I must tell you my story, but I don't know where to begin. There is so much that I should start from my childhood, but my memories of these times are vague. I only remember the summer of 1929, when they sent me off to stay with my nanny.
Nanny, will you tell me the story of the White Lady?
No, little sparrow. Not tonight. A fog is coming, see?
Yes. I know that when it's foggy, the lady kills young women. But why is she so evil?
You see, Julia, pain and suffering can make us do evil things, even if we're not actually bad.
Just like soldiers have to kill other soldiers. I like the lady, I've decided, Nanny. She must be in so much pain. The poor dear. She still scares me a little, though. Soon I'll be a young woman, and she could kill me. Does she kill those who love her?
Of course not.
That makes me feel better because I love her. But what about Martha? Would she be in danger?
Your sister is with your mother, so do not worry. Do you miss them?
No. I mean, yes, I miss Martha a little, but I love spending time with you.
Now, go to sleep, little sparrow. It's getting late.
Okay, Nanny. I'll go to sleep and dream of the lady. Was she beautiful?
She was beautiful. Yes, very much so.
Then she'll be beautiful in my dreams. And will I be beautiful just like her?
You'll be even more beautiful.
Listen, Nanny. Since the lady won't harm me because I love her, and since you're not a young woman, could you tell me her story, even if it's foggy outside? Please. Oh, please, then I'll sleep. I promise.
Oh, all right. You always get your own way.
I loved Nanny and I loved that story. Every time I heard it, it sounded like a new and more mesmerizing tale. Every night I would ask her to tell me about it, even though it scared me. Even now I can remember every single day of that time and how happy I was.
According to an ancient legend, the lakes of the area are haunted by the spirit of a young woman who was killed by the man she loved. She was expecting a lover's stroll by the lake, gazing out at the old tree growing on the lake's island. So much hope and desire, but death, not love, was awaiting her. In despair, the man confessed he had killed her out of jealousy. So he was hanged on the small island, in the middle of the very same lake where he had killed the girl. They searched everywhere, but the girl's body was never found. Since then, her spirit, known as the White Lady, has been imprisoned in the depths of the lake. She grieves eternally for the loss of the man she loved. When fog arises, the White Lady is known to leave the waters of the lake and roam the woods, looking for her long-lost love, in vain. Within the fog of dawn, hunters have claimed to hear the wailing of a woman in the distance. Every time the sad memory of the night she perished stirs in her soul, she takes the life of a young woman by slaying such a life in its youth, even just for an instant. The lady feels free from the burden of her pain.
Good night, Nanny.
Good night, my love.
I spent almost 3 years with the nanny, but when I came home, I quickly forgot how to be happy. My memories do not return until 15 years later, in 1944, when I stayed in that house. I enjoyed setting up cameras in the woods by the lake. My father created a device that attached to the cameras. It would make them take pictures at set intervals. I was trying to photograph animals, or whatever else was in that damned place. Reel off the film. Open the camera. Remove the old roll of film. Put the new film in. Close the camera. Load the film. Activate the timer. Almost ready. Now to bring the image into focus. There's something floating on the surface of the water. If I frame it better, I might be able to see what it is. What? Is that a person? I must help them. I was horrified at the idea that someone might have drowned in my lake. The lake was my world, where I would spend entire days daydreaming. I would lose myself in my thoughts, but that was a rude awakening. So terrible. I instantly noticed that the person was wearing one of my dresses. I was scared. I dragged that lifeless body as best as I could to the shore, trying not to drown myself. Only when I lifted her in my arms did I realize who she was. It was my sister, my twin, a part of me, dead. Impossible to comprehend. I was desperate. I didn't know what to do or to think. I have to stay calm. Martha is not dead. It's not possible. It's not true. There's no need to worry. Everything is fine. Everything will be fine. I have to stay calm. Martha, February 26th, 1923.
Is everything okay?
Are you hurt?
What are you doing?
Go, Eric! Run!
My parents ran towards me. My mother hugged me. She, who detested me, was now cuddling me. Her warmth filled me with life, and the pain became bearable. I felt protected. "Martha, are you okay?" she asked me, speaking slowly in order to let me read her lips. She thought I was deaf. She thought I was Martha. I didn't want the moment to fade, so I meekly nodded my head. I didn't realize I had done something that couldn't be undone. I would have to pretend to be Martha forever. O Lord, who gives life to the dying, let your sacrifice of love be offered for Martha's soul. Into your hands I also entrust my spirit, so that I may be reunited with her in perpetual light, to never suffer the desolation of purgatory. Please grant her eternal rest, O Lord, and may eternal light shine upon her.
Eric, did you remember to light the candles in the hall? People will be here soon.
Mummy always finds something for everyone to do. July 17th, 1944. Our family is... July 17th, 1944. Our hearts are with you and we share your grief in the wake of the tragic loss of your dearest Julia. Monsignor Attilio D. July 17th, 1944, Ministry of War. Director General for Conscripts and NCOs. We are grieving over your sudden loss, and we send you our heartfelt condolences. The Lieutenant Colonel Rapporteur. July 17th, 1944, Ministry of War. Director General for An old painting. I find it so sad. It communicates a sense of deep solitude to me. I can't turn it off. We have to listen to the radio all of the time. Any news and announcements can be vital. There's no reason to use the phone right now. A telegraph box. I know how to use it. Daddy taught me. Daddy's oboe. We were preparing a really nice duet together. On the rare occasions he's at home, that is. These hunting rifles are not Daddy's. He never went hunting. Nanny must have left them here. Books, books, and more books. In our villa there must be 10 times more than even here. Mummy and Daddy. They are the epitome of wealth and elegance. But pain pays no heed to money and style. This painter was a friend of Grandpa's. I always loved his paintings. As a child, I used to look at them for hours. The only way people could tell Martha and me apart was by dressing differently. Even Mother couldn't tell us apart.
When you're done, can you come and get the flowers, please? Or send Martha if
Daddy
you like.
must be devastated. He loves me. I messed up and now I have to watch him suffer my death. I can at least light the candles and let him find some comfort in sleep. Everything always has to be perfect with her.
Parla Londra. Trasmettiamo alcuni messaggi speciali. Felice non è felice. Se c'è stata la pioggia. La mia barba è bionda. Parla Londra. Abbiamo trasmesso alcuni messaggi speciali.
What's happening? Who closed the door?
Erich, wake up. Do you think it's appropriate to sleep here, of all places?
What? Yes. I must have fallen asleep.
What are they talking about?
You can't stay here forever. Why don't you go to bed?
No. I want to stay with my daughter.
Your daughter? Your daughter? You have another daughter, you know. The one who's still alive. Remember?
What are you talking about, Irene? Julia is dead. What kind of comment is that? How can you?
You should be thinking about Martha. Julia harmed Martha. You know that, right? And as if that were not enough, she has now also abandoned her.
It's the same old story. Everything is always Julia's fault, isn't it? Her fault for Martha being deaf and for you being infertile. Do you think it's the right time for this? Julia is dead, Irene. Dead. Someone killed her. Do you realize that?
Of course I realize. I get it. Do you think I'm stupid? No one understands it better than me. She always brought problems. Only problems. It would have been better if she hadn't been born at all. You're crazy.
I'm the crazy one? Me? They have done plans is to get at me, yes. Your death is all my fault. All I could ever do for you was hurt you, Julia. My poor, sweet, crazy girl. What will I do without you? What will life be like now? All the time I didn't spend with you. But now I'm home. We can go fishing together. We can take pictures of butterflies. No. We can't do anything together anymore, can we? Nothing. I miss you, Julia. I miss you.
While American bombings continue to devastate the peaceful towns within the Elsa Valley, we have heard some tragic news from the area of La Ramola. The young daughter of German Army General Erich K. was murdered near her home. What possible reason could there have been behind such a cowardly act? This is what the Carabinieri, who immediately intervened, hope to find out.
Mother didn't seem to suffer from the situation. All she cared about was that my death was so painful for Martha. But not having me around anymore must have been a great relief to her. At the end of the day, it was better for everyone that it was me who died, and it was better for me too that people thought that. But the guilt began to consume me. That's when I started having horrible nightmares. Martha has lost her soul. 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 I stole her identity. I stole her identity. was just a dream. A horrible dream. That horrendous woman and the face of my sister. I wish all of this was a dream and my sister is just sleeping in her bed. Instead, her bed is empty and this is reality. This is Martha and me at the festival of the patron saint. It was only a few months ago, and now... Martha had asked for a picture of me to put in this frame. She wanted me to do one of those expressions of mine that made her laugh. Expressions that she couldn't quite imitate. She used to say that those were the signs of my soul. Can a photo capture the soul? Can I capture Martha's soul? Scary fairy tales. Everything seems to be scary lately. Yet everything here is so beautiful and bright. This is Martha's trinket box. It could contain something that will help to figure out what happened. Even more scary fairy tales. Martha's clothes. To me, wearing them will be like having her with me. Mummy will also be happy to see them. Or I could wear my clothes in the other wardrobe. I'm already dressed. I always keep my trinket box locked. It's July 18th. Oh gosh, if Mummy sees this picture, she'll throw it away for sure. It's me and Lapo. I want to see him as soon as possible so we can mourn Martha's death together. The butterfly collection that Daddy made for me. Nanny will be visiting me soon. I'm already dressed. It's me with the nanny. Or maybe it was Martha. No one can remember. I still like to have the books and games from when I was little with me. It's about 9:30. My dress, the one Martha wore when she was... Everything I need is always in my bag. The key to my trinket box. Here is my diary. July 12th, 1944. This is a new diary. July 16th.
Yes, Erich, I'll be right there. I'm just going upstairs to call Martha down for breakfast. Fine, but I'm not sure we should let her sleep all day. What do you think? What did you say? Okay, I won't wake her up. I'll just turn on her light. So when she wakes up, she'll know when to come down for breakfast.
They really think I'm Martha and I can't hear them. I need to be careful not to talk, or I will be in serious trouble. How wonderful the snow is. Unfortunately, it doesn't snow often around here. Dad loves these prints of Florence. I find them a bit sad. There's no shortage of paintings in our house. Mum is passionate about painting. It's locked. Strange. Why did they lock my room? As a child, when I spent those short years with the nanny, this was my room.
Martha's breakfast is ready. We can go.
Yes. It's getting late.
Did you leave the newspaper for Martha? You know how much she likes reading it.
Yes, Irena. It's on the table, can't you see?
And that camera, are you leaving it there?
Yes, Irena. Can't you leave it there for a few more days? Do you mind? It was for Julia. I will take it away soon. I promise. The thought makes me so sad. Seeing it there is as if... I don't know how to explain it.
All right, but let's go now. We have too much to do. We can't stay here all day talking.
Mummy is right, though. Martha always read everything. It's me who will now read the newspaper instead. They'll be out all day. The funeral preparations will take them a long time. Everything is more complex with the war. Over the next few days, I will see little to nothing of them. Mummy's family coat of arms. Daddy says that our wine, which is produced here, is extraordinary. I hate wine. I prefer beer. These plates are not ours. Nanny left them here. I remember them well. During deep winter, I would go to sleep snuggled by the fire and Nanny would get angry. Do you want to turn into a piece of charcoal, Julia? Mummy's family coat of arms. Brutal assassination in San Casciano. Julia Kay, a young woman from a respectable family, brutally murdered near her home. Carabinieri investigates. A possible political motive emerges. Martha was not killed by politics or war. She was killed by something much closer and much less clear. I will find out the truth. Julia Kay. Distressed but supported by faith. Irenei the mother, Erich the father, and Martha the sister sadly announced Julia's passing. The funeral will take place in La Romola, Thursday, July 20th at 9:30 p.m. departing from the property of the deceased. Firm bulwark even in the skies. 159 aircraft of the Germanic defense shot down in 24 hours. Major Russian operation northwest of Jassy. Enemy convoy lost in the Mediterranean. 2 destroyers and 6 merchant vessels sunk. Brutal assassination in San Casciano. Julia Kay, a young woman from a respectable family, brutally murdered near her home. Carabinieri investigates. A possible political motive emerges. First improvements in food registration. Bread rations increased by 50 grams per day as of April 20th. A kilo more every month of soup ingredients. Reforms to the treatment of agricultural workers and an unexpected distribution of jam. Bread, butter, jam and coffee. Martha's typical breakfast. I prefer honey and milk, but I'll have to adapt to her tastes, obviously. Chocolate, a privilege for few people in these times. Mummy's sewing machine. She learnt how to sew because nobody else could do it to her liking. These could be of use to me. Mummy's medicine. Will they do her any good? Lorenzini haberdashery. 5 meters of grey cotton fabric. 6 meters of white linen fabric. 4 meters of green satin. Delivered on June 5th, 1944. In the event of an issue, contact us on the number 6987. And this red fabric? It's not been mentioned. Could this also be one of Mummy's, or could the nanny have left it here? This fabric is not new to me, yet I do not think I have ever seen it in the house. Our wine. Daddy is so proud of it. These workbenches fascinate me. I would love to learn carpentry. This is where Nanny's husband made my dolls. The puppets I used to play with were made here. I never knew that when I was a child. They always told me that a fairy brought them. I didn't really believe them, but it was nice to think that. Daddy set up his darkroom here. He doesn't take photos anymore because of his work, but photography is still his true passion. I'm allowed to use the darkroom when I want to. Daddy had this device brought here last week. It's old, but still works. He has always loved everything technological. Before I can use the enlarger, I should take a photo. There are 3 baths when developing photos. The development bath, then the first rinse, and then the fixing bath. The second rinse is done directly in the sink afterwards. There might be birds around the little wall in front of the house. I always put crumbs on it for them.
Oggi Bonsi, on the day of St. Alexis, the battle rages in the city
Florence, July 15th, 1944. General Erich K. As per our prior agreement, we are sending you military encrypted communication material. The device must remain hidden and secret. Hail. Feldmaskerallo, Carl H. Daddy, Mummy, and my grandparents. Daddy's canes. They are so beautiful, but I can't say why, but they have always scared me. I always wanted to swim here when I was with Nanny, even when it was cold. I came here to fish when I was little. I went with that ever so kind man who worked for my father. Who knows where he is now? Maybe he joined the war too. This is the centre of our farm, but since we moved here, it hasn't worked like it used to. Security matters, Daddy says. I was afraid of animals when I was little. I never approached them alone. Excellent. I've taken the picture, now it's straight to the darkroom in the cellar to print it. Daddy recently became a general in the German army. He used to take pictures on the front lines, but now he gives me the materials to take photographs instead. Now that Martha is gone, only this camera can fix my ideas and my memories. I can't allow myself to forget.
Hello guys, this is Red Senpai from Red's Third Dimension Gaming and Red Senpai Reviews. Martha is Dead is a story where the point of view is changeable, unstable, confused even. Before I get into the review, I want to let you guys know that this game is not for kids. This is an 18 plus game, and even with that, Sony decided to censor some parts of the game. If you haven't seen it already, you probably saw it in my review. This maybe won't be monetizable in the future, so keep that in mind. Here's a synopsis about the story. Set in 1944 Italy, Martha is Dead is a dark first-person psychological thriller that blurs the lines between reality, superstition, and the tragedy of war. As conflict intensifies between German and Allied forces, the desecrated body of a woman is found drowned. Martha is dead, and her twin sister Julia, the young daughter of a German soldier, must alone deal with the acute trauma of loss and the fallout from her murder. The hunt for the truth is shrouded by mysterious folklore and the extreme horror of war that draws ever closer. The story is intended to keep the player in a state of tension through combining real-world events with bold narrative elements and the suspension of reality during intense artistic scenes. In Martha is Dead, the story is the true protagonist of the game, and I agree with that. Complex and intricate, entirely based on a distorted vision of the world, alternating between dream and reality sequences, which are often hard to distinguish from one another. So this story is really, really good. If you had like a horror movie that you really liked, this is like 10 times better than that. It's unique, it's different, it kept me on my toes the whole time. And the whole censoring this thing because of a scene where, some spoilers, there is a scene that is censored by Sony where you cut the face off of your dead sister, but it's in a dream sequence. So this isn't actually happening. So this is a nightmare, and they censored that. However, in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I just watched the Netflix movie. It's like 100 times worse than that. The same exact thing happens, and it's more gruesome, and like I said, it's 100 times worse. That's rated R, so rated R equals 17 and plus in America. This is rated 18 and plus, so that is an adult rating. Why not leave the game alone and just let the players decide if this is appropriate or not? Let the rating board help the consumer make their decision. I don't think you should censor a game, no matter how intense it is. That just takes away from it. A game is like art. You don't want to censor it unless it's literally like the R word, you know? So the PlayStation versions of the game have been modified and a censored mode has been added, meaning content is no longer interactive. Product pages have warning text clearly displayed. Disclaimer text at the start has been updated. It is now more sensitive, clear, and includes warning of miscarriage references. The safe in our world message, which appears at the end, providing a link where help can be found, now also appears after the disclaimer at the start on all platforms, not just PlayStation. A censor option message appears at the start after the SIOW message, which takes effect for the entire game. Within the settings, the option censored has been added so players can disable and enable the censors during the game. Any mention of master blah blah blah, I don't know if YouTube likes that word, has been totally removed during the church chapter as VO in text. And I played the PC version, so obviously this is in the game. I recognize this, and it is a little bit unsettling, some of the wording, but it's fine. That's what the writers intended it to be, and that's what they put in the game. The face peeling scene, which I just talked about, is no longer interactive. Okay, so it just happens. I guess it says it's not interactive, so it's either removed or you just don't get to do it yourself. The game does a good job at making you have chills and actually scare you without being too gruesome. In my opinion, it's not too gruesome, but that's what the rating's for. So none of these are really spoilers, except for this one. The scene whereby Julia cuts open something, so I'm not going to say it, is no longer interactive, so I guess it just happens, okay? Or it's cut out of the game. I have no idea. I would not recommend the PlayStation version if you want a censored game. If you don't like censorship, buy the PC or the Xbox version of the game. Really, this game should have came out on Nintendo then, because Nintendo has not been censoring a lot of their games lately. If the player chooses to censor the game, the face peeling scene is skipped. This is actually very early on in the game. You probably saw it in some of the gameplay. The scene returns when Julia is holding Martha's skin. This is vital to the story and allegorical meaning in the game. I agree, and they skipped it. The scene where she's cutting something that I talked about is skipped. There is another scene that is skipped in the game. There is another scene that is removed, and the camera has a blurring effect when focusing on something. So overall, if you choose to have the censor mode on, there are many scenes that are skipped in the game. There have been some references and words taken out of the game. A lot of you probably saw about the face scene. That is no longer interactive in the PlayStation version. The PlayStation version has many things censored and changed. So if you want an uncensored version of the game, I wouldn't suggest buying the PlayStation version. I would suggest buying the PC or Xbox version of the game. I think this game should have came out on Switch, because you could even have a touchscreen and make it even harder and scarier. And Nintendo hasn't been censoring their games lately. If you guys want to know more, you can message me on Discord or on Twitter if you have any questions about the censorship. It's a pretty lengthy list. So in this game, there are a couple different parts. There are dream sequences. These are little nightmares where you have to interact, and there's different types of gameplay elements in this game. It's usually never the exact same, so it's always changing, and the pacing is perfect. And then you have the camera gameplay, so you can take pictures, you can find camera film and accessories for your camera throughout the game, and take all kinds of different pictures. You're going to have to take certain pictures for the main story, and if you want trophies or achievements, you're going to be using a darkroom for both the story and your own personal use. If you like to take pictures, there's a photo album of all your pictures that you have taken and developed through the darkroom. There's quite a few things to do in the forest part of the story. The first part of the game mainly wants you to do things in the forest. There are also some side story elements to this game too, so you can do some hidden quests within the game. Probably the creepiest and scariest part of this game is there's a puppet show later in the game. I'm not going to explain what it's about, but just be wary when you get to the puppet show. Things get really creepy, and a lot of story is explained. And the most terrifying part of the game for me was one of the puppet shows. Graphically, this game is beautiful, but on the PC version of the game, I had to change some things. But everything I changed didn't really affect anything until I turned ray tracing off. Ray tracing actually makes this game run slow. So you'll be like lagging and trekking through the game really slowly. However, if you turn ray tracing off, this fixes most of those issues. There was one game-breaking issue towards the end of the game where you can't go back to the forest. So you want to complete all your side quests before. However, they let me go to the forest, but I'm actually not supposed to go to the forest. So I think that's what made the game crash. I was going into the forest and I was really close to the lake, and the game just went, it just crashed on me. So that's one issue. I'm sure it'll get updated in the future. Overall, it has a great horror story. Pretty good gameplay elements. I was very surprised by this game. I didn't want to stop playing it until I beat it. And it looks gorgeous. You just have to turn the ray tracing off until they fix that. In addition, supposedly you can play this game on the Steam Deck. There's an option for it. If you would like to purchase a physical copy of this game, I have links down below in the description. That'll help support the channel. The game is $29.99 in America. It features many different languages, including English. And don't forget to thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. And please help Red Senpai by turning on all the notifications and sharing this video with your friends. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next review.